gang. Hey, nothing but love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family. Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together to the grave. It's a gang till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We the own in our veins, man. Me and my fans, we the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey everyone, meteorologist Tuttle back with you again. It is about almost a quarter till noon. This will be a rather short and brief lunchtime weather update for you for the upcoming snow event for today. So I hope you're excited to see some of that white stuff falling from the sky. Some of you will be able to build a snowman today. We're going to show you who will be the lucky folks in that regard, and then unfortunately who will be the sad face kids. We will show that to you as well. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and share this video. Hit the old share button right now as you're watching it. Make sure you tell your friends and family about AT's weather. You can get it right here all over the internet. You can pick Twitter, you can pick YouTube, you can pick Facebook, or you can pick Gab TV here soon in a couple of months once they roll that out. All right, on Facebook, again, if you want to get direct notifications from me when I do go live, because Facebook doesn't play nice, hit the link I just sent, and then that'll get you squared away there. You'll have to hit the manage updates when you do opt in, because it will time you out after a few times, so you'll have to keep re-upping so that the algorithms know that's what you want. All right, so let's take a look at outside view. So let's look at my AT's weather cam. You can see it's cloudy out there, and we do have what will be some of that white stuff falling from the sky here. Just give it about another couple of hours, I think, here in Oklahoma City. You might see just a stray flake before then, but it's going to hold off just a little bit longer, and then it'll move on in. Temperatures outside, they're 31.8 degrees, so actually my temperatures have dropped a little bit. Now what that tells me is that moisture is falling from the sky and helping to cool the atmosphere down a little bit and saturate it somewhat. So it's going to drop that temperature, plus the clouds are increasing to reduce the solar radiation. So yada, yada, yada. Get ready for some changes. Okay, so let's take a look. Let me put up this guy here, and we'll go here. So this is the upper levels of the atmosphere. Again, we're tracking that storm system. The big question is, did it change any at all? And the answer is no. As a matter of fact, the closed low appearance it had in the last couple of days for data kind of diminished and went back to an open wave trough. So at one point, it was like really, really intense over the panhandle of Texas before it became an open wave trough. This time around, it decided, you know what, we're just going to keep it an open wave trough. So not a big deal there. But what happens is you get the influence of the trough axis, like so, of lift in the atmosphere. And so as long as you have moisture and cold temperatures, you're going to get some winter precipitation out of it, which will be kind of in this area where you see all the colors. That represents the big lift in the atmosphere. Now down here in Dallas, temperatures are a little too warm. So unfortunately, only I can probably see maybe as a flurry, otherwise sprinkles. Some light showers that may pass through. Otherwise, most of the cold air is just to your north along the Red River on into Oklahoma. So this is the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and that kind of moves through by midnight. So that's the storm system. You notice how those colors diminish real quickly. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's gone by the time it gets to Arkansas. So it is a very small, very compact storm system, which is why it doesn't have a very large footprint when it comes to snow. Now, when we look at kind of the lower level forcing to kind of time things out, we look at the 700 millibar layer, and what you see, wait a minute, what did I just show you? I showed you 500. Yeah, let's go to 700. I picked the wrong one. Okay, so 700 millibar layer. So this is where we get kind of timing of the forcing to produce the precipitation. So by, let's see, here's lunchtime. All right, so here's 9 o'clock in the morning, and then here's lunchtime. You see how the colors just start to erupt? That means overall blanket of lift. That's what's really going to crank out that moisture in the cloud cover, deepen those clouds, get them thicker, get them produce those ice crystals, get them produce those snow flakes, and then come on down. And here's mid-afternoon around 3 o'clock. You can see these little bright spots of red indicates really strong lift, and that's across parts of central, western, southwestern Oklahoma and northwest Texas. By 0Z, in other words, by 6 or 7 o'clock this evening, a lot of that stronger lift starts to move east toward Tulsa down south. Now, there still will be enough lift to produce a little bit of light snow, but you can see how the big wave is a very quick one and quickly moving on off to the east as we head into the midnight hour in the southeast Oklahoma. So that's kind of the timing and how things work with these upper level storm systems. So what does that look like to you at the surface? Well, let's take a look here. So here's the timing. So here's 11 to 12 o'clock. We do have a little hint of the light snow developing here in the model data that's showing up out there, which, by the way, if I put this in the map for you here, this is a live view of the radar. I meant to actually start with this, and I got too many squirrels going on. But you can see where it kind of is a darker shade of blue. That's where you're having the snow actually come down to the surface to be reported. So there are some spots of blue here in Oklahoma already, especially in the panhandle of Texas. The white stuff is probably, most of this is just evaporating or coming out as maybe just a flurry or two. So anyways, where you do see the darker colors, that's where you're starting to get a little bit of that making its way to the surface. So it's just really starting. It's kind of what we're trying to say here. Okay, so back to where I was. Timing. So 1 o'clock, there's 2 o'clock, there's 3 o'clock. So Elk City to Enid, heading up toward Stillwater, Oklahoma City, Lawton. So the models will have a tough time with the leading edge. They're painting green for rain, but what they really mean is snow, so just kind of ignore that color transition. It's just going to be all snow. And the darker the blue, the heavier the rates. You can see those are kind of peppered in there over central and west central Oklahoma. That continues down southwest through 4 o'clock. Here's 5 o'clock, stretching from Ponca City, again Stillwater, Oklahoma City, down to Lawton, Wichita Falls, and then points west from there to Childress and Elk City. That's 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock. It's very slow moving, you notice that, right? Kind of just sits there, just snows, which is good if you want some significant snowfall amounts. So there's 6 and there's 7, so still moving across Oklahoma City. If you will notice, in the last few hours, there was kind of this little dead zone right here on the east side of Oklahoma City, which really stinks. So that tells you a lot of the precipitation is evaporating, so we're wasting a lot of it from the snow for measurable amounts because the lift kind of dissipates once it gets east of 35. But regardless, it's still got some good lift down here, so a lot of good heavy snows from Lawton to Wichita Falls to the probably Paoli Valley, Paoli and Pauls Valley region through 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock now. Still some light stuff going through Tulsa, moving into Ardmore, and then now it starts to really diminish. So by 11 o'clock, it's just flurries for the rest of the state, so no big deal after that. In the midnight, it's long gone. So there's your timing on that. Now, how much snow? Well, we've been looking at the European for the best average for snowfall, the best stab at it, that and the Canadian model. Those are my two favorites typically for snow events, especially when you're a couple of days out to give you a good idea. So as we're at, time 0, here's their final shot to see what they can do. And it does have some significant snow in a stretch. So a couple of bands here from 1 to 2 to 3. It's got a little spot here of 4 inches. We did talk about that last night. Now, the one thing I don't see it doing, which is probably an error in my opinion, is a better accumulation of snow down here in southwest Oklahoma and northwest Texas. In prior data, there's a lot of lift in that area. So I would expect some better snow accumulations down there than what the model is showing. But meanwhile, if you do look in Oklahoma City, it has a good solid almost an inch. So lighter on the east side of town, a little heavier on the west side of town. But have no fear. We'll take a look at the very short-term model to see if it jives. And it actually says, ha, European, I will trump you and give you just a little bit more. So this is probably closer to reality. You probably have to blend the two to get a true picture, but the deal is you're never really going to know with snow, which is the most frustrating part as a forecaster. You will never, ever be able to give an exact snow amount, which is really stinks, but that's the way it is. It's a very finicky atmospheric variable. Okay, so what we do have, remember that kind of drier slot I was showing you out there? It doesn't do a whole lot on the east side of Oklahoma City. out toward the Turnpike and I-40. Seems to kind of put the brakes on right along I-44. All right, so that's kind of the favorite area of measurable snow, but it did extend a little bit northward in the data last 24 hours to include kind of that 412 corridor. But we mentioned that last night as a boundary of where the significant snow would kind of put the brakes on, so that's nothing new there. And then here, this model does have a better view of this southwest Oklahoma and northwest Texas. It does at least have some higher snowfall accumulations around 3 inches. That still may be a little underdone, but the big focus here, somebody in west central Oklahoma is going to get 4 inches of snow. That could be Cordell, that could be Clinton, Weatherford, just south of there. So I do expect kids to see some big snowmen out here. If you disappoint me, I'm going to be so upset because that will be such a waste. And you do not want to waste an Oklahoma snow. That's for sure. All right, otherwise, here in the metro, we've got lights east side of town, like I said, probably about an inch. Northwest side of town, as long as things go well, maybe as much as 2 inches in the forecast. All right, now we take a look at any impacts. And if you'll notice, we do have a minor impact. And this is mainly for, travel conditions on the roads when it does pile up pretty quickly during that short window of time. So bridges and overpasses may get a little slippery as a result of that. What I can show you, I did not load this up, so shame on me, but I will do it here quickly. Okay, so I'll take you to my website, aarontuttle.weather.com. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because if you look on here where it says weather data, there's a lot of stuff on here you can check out. If you look to Oklahoma power outages is on there for a lot of information on any power outages. Don't expect that, but there you go. But here's what I want to point out to you today, and that is Oklahoma road conditions. So if you click on Oklahoma road conditions, I do post the soil temperatures, kind of give you an idea how much melting we may end up getting. And usually if temperatures are in the 30s, you don't get really any melting of the snow. We're right about 40, so there's probably going to be a little bit of snow melted initially, but we've got a pretty good window of snow, so maybe it'll overcome it. It does have the Oklahoma City snow routes plotted, so when that becomes active, you can check out the map for driving around town, should that ever become a problem for you in the future. And it's got the statewide conditions here for traveling as well. So if you have an issue where you're traveling, you want to check out the roadways, you can check on these individual cameras and it'll show you a picture of how the roads look. So you can click on that. And then finally, if you really want to zoom in here to the metro and other parts of the state, you can use this little map here. And you can also pick on, if some of the times these cameras are working and sometimes they're not, it just depends on how the city is updating them. But you can stretch this out across Oklahoma City or the state in general, including Tulsa, etc., and just check on roadways there. So if you always kind of question how the roads look, go to my website, aarontuttle.weather.com, and check it out. All right, temperatures. Well, we already know it's cold out there now, right? So let me go take a look at the latest data. It's going to be in the 20s. Let's see. Of course, that was this morning. Let's see. We do rebound a little bit. So the models tapered the warm-up quite a bit than what they had before. It's kind of low 30s. That still is going to be a stretch, though, because you saw my temperatures already falling. So they've kind of already busted on the temperatures here in parts of central Oklahoma because of the increase in cloud cover. Already starting to see the kind of the light snow. It'll keep it cooler where it does see the snow in this particular case. So let me try this one. I don't like that output. We'll see if this one's any better. It's not. They're really struggling. That's okay. All right, so they're going to struggle with temperatures. They all will. That's fine. It is what it is. Southeast Oklahoma will get a chance to warm up, though, into the probably 40-degree range or so, whereas the rest of us will be in the 20s and the 30s because of the clouds and the snowfall. So anyway, towards tonight, we're going to cool you back down into the 20s. Let's see. So we head into... let's go to tomorrow morning. Quite cold, so we'll be in the 20s here in central Oklahoma. See, there's 7 o'clock, so 25 degrees here in Oklahoma City, but I want you to show you something. Remember, the models had a pretty good amount of snow just west of Oklahoma City and then into parts of western Oklahoma, right? Well, if you notice the temperatures, watch they drop off. So mid-20s, all of a sudden, bam, we're at 19 degrees, 18 degrees here by the time you get to El Reno. Down the Turnpike, well, not down the Turnpike, it's west of there, though. 17 degrees, let's see, down toward 15. Way down here in southwest Oklahoma, 13. Elk City, you're at 15. This is all due to snowpack on the ground, snow cover. So it's temperatures will really bottom out for tomorrow morning out here in western Oklahoma as a result. So pretty neat stuff. Okay, so let me do this for you. Reload this, and I'll show you the forecast here for the next few days. So we're going to warm things up for you over the weekend. So it is a quick-moving system. Doesn't last long. The snow won't last long either. So we'll be in the 60s as we head on into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Looking good. All right, now big change. Potentially huge. And I mean huge. So Wednesday and Thursday, this little time frame right here. This is dramatically changing each model run because the models are trying to decide whether or not to give us a winter storm. The European is going all in. I mean, just, leaving no stone unturned. It's just going to go nuts. Let me see if I can find the output for that. So it does. All right, so this is on this chart here, these little graphs indicate snowfall amounts, and so it does accumulate. It's got about 6 inches of snow here in Oklahoma City for that time frame. So from Wednesday into Thursday. All right, that's huge. That's significant. Now this started in the data. So yesterday's data had indicated this. The day before, not so much. So yesterday it started the trend. Today it continues the trend. So if you're really wanting a really big winter storm, next week, in the middle of next week, might be your day. Now, this may not just be snow, though. This could easily be a little mixed bag of other things as well. Let me show you. Let's go down here. Is this what I wanted? Let's do... Which one am I looking for? This one. Okay, so we showed you the ensemble members, which is the same European model pushed in many different directions. And if you look, today's day, all the ensembles say snow. Well, that's kind of like duh. But they've increased the amounts. A lot of them have 1 to 2 inches, whereas last night they didn't have that much. So this is a change in the data for Oklahoma City itself. So it averages out to about 1 inch. All right, so we've already been there, done that. So here's the next system that comes in for Wednesday. And a lot more of these ensembles continue to kind of come in. Every time a new run happens, when we run this data, more of them say, you know what, let's do it, let's go for it. Now, some of them are light, an inch of snow or less, but a few of them are quite significant. There's a run that had 4, 5, 7, 6, 4, 7. So there you go. And then a little hint of some snow with another system after that. So I had talked about the last few days that there are a lot of these little waves that come through. And in any snapshot in time, when we look at the jet stream pattern, we show you little storm systems. Any point in time, they can slightly shift track, right? Or they can come in a little stronger, or they can come in a little weaker. And then finally, is there enough cold air in place left over for them to do anything with it? But the point is, you have to have at least an active jet stream to bring those down here. So to say it's a boring pattern, nothing's going to happen, blah, is an idiotic statement because any one of these can surprise you. So today, for example, that was a little bit of surprise. Even though the signal had been there off and on, it didn't really get good, going well until Sunday for today. So there's an example of how that's just a 4-day heads up that this thing finally turned into something. And if you notice the European model we're talking about for next week, the middle of next week and Wednesday, that didn't really show up until yesterday. So you can see how sometimes the models aren't going to tell you 2 weeks out or a month out or 3 weeks or even a full week. So you have to watch these things daily because as long as you're in active pattern, got to keep an eye on it, and then this can happen. So we'll see. It's not set in stone yet. We'll see how next week looks. Don't have too much time to get into that now, which is fine because we've got today to do it. So thanks for joining me. Enjoy the snow. Let's see your snowfall measurements. I want to see a ruler. Go out in the middle of the yard. If you've got a table in the middle of the yard, that's fine. And don't be jagging it into the 6 inches in the ground and tell me you got a foot of snow. Just lightly put it down there and measure a couple spots. Take a picture and post it on Facebook. What I'll do is I'll start like a big post so you can post all your pictures underneath that thread. I'll show you what I get at my backyard. Probably a few flakes. I haven't had much the last couple of days. I've been robbed. If you guys out there watching in Tulsa, again, you're not expecting a whole lot, just a dusting at most, and some flurries in southeast Oklahoma. So this event is mostly for central, western, and southern Oklahoma, southwest Oklahoma. So kind of if you were to borderline the bulk of the action, it would be right along I-40 west out of Oklahoma City and I-35 south out of Oklahoma City. And then everywhere you go north and east of that boundary, it gets less and less and less and tapers off. So that's what I got for you. So I appreciate you guys watching today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weather. Be safe out there on the roadways. And we'll talk at you again soon. Take care.